Magnetism, sexuality, and intimacy. A young boy and girl are walking home from school one day. The boy, being at an age where he is interested in impressing the girl, says to her, "I have a new puppy at my house. Would you like to come over?" She responds, "No, thank you. I just got a new pony and I want to go ride her." Undaunted, the boy continues his efforts. "Well, I also just got a new bicycle. Maybe you can come over later and I'll let you ride it." Unimpressed, she replies, "No, thanks. I just got a new four-wheeler motorbike and I'll be riding that." Finally, out of frustration, the boy pulls down his pants and says, "Well, I know you don't have one of those." As nonchalantly as ever, the girl then pulls down her pants and says, "Yes, but with one of these, I can get all of those I want." This joke illustrates the law of attraction, the Venus principle, although obviously not in its highest manifestation. This chapter explores what you can do to enhance your ability to attract people, situation, and resources into your life, and how to receive greater enjoyment from them once you do. Venus relates to your values concerning love, pleasure, relationships, art, and the enjoyment of life. At the physical level, Venus first focuses on experiences in the sensory, material world and seeks that which delights the senses. This seeking of pleasure is satisfied only when one has learned the art of appreciation, of enjoyment. For experience without appreciation keeps the elusive goal of satisfaction just out of reach on an overexpanding search for sensory gratification. The sexual revolution and the feminine revolution have evolved and merged into a revolution of the understanding of love. In the patriarchal, it's a man's world culture from which we are emerging, possessive love was the dominant theme. Love was thought somehow to be finite. You had a set amount, and if you gave it away elsewhere, there will be less available for your mate. All jealousy comes from this belief that there isn't enough love to go around. In contrast to this is the process of the feminine heart and the belief that the more you love, the more your capacity for love grows. Good mothers have always known this. When you have one child and your heart is filled to the brim with love, do you have to divide your love to make room for another child? Certainly not. Your capacity for love grows, and you are able to love both children fully. Venus represents your capacity to enjoy experiences and attract needed resources, opportunities, and people into your life. The following is an exercise in cultivating your ability to appreciate your experiences, thus adding to your ability to attract abundance into your life. Venus exercise for enhancing magnetism. Cultivate your magnetism by entering into an attitude of gratitude for the enjoyable moments that do show up in your life and linger in that appreciation. With this exercise, you shift your focus from the experience at hand to your appreciation of the experience by focusing on the emotional feelings of enjoyment in their own right. This directly activates your Venus and can be done in a variety of ways. While you are eating something you enjoy, close your eyes for a few moments. Notice, first of all, that it tastes good. Now, let your focus shift from the sensory delight to the appreciation of the feeling of enjoyment itself. Do the same while listening to a favorite piece of music, looking at a beautiful sight, hugging a friend, or during any delightful moment. All of these provide opportunities to experience enjoyment and appreciation to the fullest extent. When my wife read about this exercise, her comment was, "Often, I just stop for a moment in the day and realize I am happy." A spontaneous acknowledgement of the moment and I am thankful. Instead of purposely setting aside 5 minutes a day for this practice, she has integrated it into her awareness throughout the day. Each time you complete a search for pleasure with an awareness of the pleasurable feeling, you complete the circle of experience to appreciation and send this tone of energy into the world. This activates your magnetism and attracts more of what you truly enjoy. It seems almost too easy to be true, but give it a try and see if it doesn't bring you more enjoyment into your life. Exploring your magnetism. To explore your magnetism represented by Venus, you must first have an understanding of magnetism itself. As we know from observing a magnet, polarity both attracts and repels. White, black, male, female, day, night, good, bad, yin, yang, positive, negative. Each of these have magnetism through the polarity of opposition. Many a passionate love affair begins with intense attraction, but ends in total separation. What happens to the intense flames of the fire? If one does not learn how to balance and maintain the intense attraction, attract will inevitably flip to repel, and the relationship may end. Your attitude concerning sexuality strongly influences all aspects of your relationships, not just the physical part. First, know that you are a magnet. You are constantly attracting or repelling people and experiences to you. Venus is always operating at some level. The degree of conscious awareness you have of its operation will be equal to the degree of control you have over the quality of these experiences. To become consciously aware of how your magnetism is currently operating, observe your life with detached awareness and note what you are currently attracting to you in all areas. When you have attracted something to you, how receptive are you to the experience? Do you allow yourself to appreciate gifts, compliments, and assistance? Do you dodge, deny, and deflect any attempts of others to give to you? If you have difficulty receiving simple compliments, favors, and offers of assistance from others, consider the message you are energetically giving out to the world. I don't receive, I only give. What type of relationships will you attract to you? You know it, ones that are all giving on your part, with not much coming back to you from the other. To remedy this, practice being gracious in receiving in all areas of your life. Say thank you to the compliment and allow yourself to feel good about it. Accept favors and offers of assistance graciously. Try this affirmation. Joyfully I give, and joyfully I receive. Sustaining magnetism. To live a life of sustained magnetic energy is quite a balancing act. The polarities have a stronger pull as your energy increases, and it becomes easier to respond with extremist behavior. Think of being young and in the throes of a new passionate relationship, the highs and the lows, the extremes. A reactionary person cannot handle the pull of the polarities and is bounced out of the relationship. To stabilize the extremes and yet stay in the energy is a balancing act, and as with any act of balancing, you must first find the center point. Are you in touch with your center? To regain your center, go back and do any of the exercises in the Sun chapter. To maintain a balance, there needs to be an equal amount of giving and receiving in order for you to be revitalized through your interactions instead of feeling drained. This is the ultimate teaching of yin and yang as energy complements. This concept is illustrated in the example of two counselors I know. One sees 3 clients a day and exhausted, and is exhausted from giving, and more giving. With each client, she is in control and believes that the success of these sessions hinges solely on her giving and directing. She is not aware of what she receives from her clients, and thus there is no magnetism through these exchanges. If she is not talking and directing the sessions, she feels she is not given enough. This is not an energy exchange. It is a one-way street, and the only way for her to replenish the loss of energy is through sleeping or some other form of complete rest. Compare this to another counselor who sees between 5 and 6 clients a day, but is revitalized through a giving and receiving with each one. She feels there is something for her in the experience with every client she sees. She is there for them, but knows that she benefits and grows through her involvement with her clients as well, so there is give and take. Consequently, instead of being exhausted at the end of her sessions, her energy field is still balanced. It is the interaction, the constant exchange of energy that allows her to benefit through synergy. All who work with the public are aware of the feeling of being overwhelmed by the demands of others, but herein lies the answer. When you identify only with the giving, energy problems will arise. The polarity of magnetism is not working for you. The wise person understands this, melts resistance with acceptance, and finding the meaning of each encounter is revitalized through the exchange. It's still the same situation, the same public, the same you, but with a shift in your attention, you have been revitalized rather than drained. You still get tired at the end of the day, but not exhausted. Energy flirting. Sometimes the spark of energy needed to activate magnetism needs to be jump-started. I call this energy flirting, to distinguish it from the undesirable come-on. Playfulness is required to keep the spark of magnetism alive in a relationship. There are times in our life cycles, such as if you have 2 or 3 children under 5 years old, where it might be more difficult to keep the energy of magnetism alive. But even then, it is still important to maintain playfulness in the relationship, or everyone starts taking things too seriously. It is the glad heart that keeps the fires of the romantic heart burning. Flirting is a way to keep the fun in a relationship, like tickling the other person's aura. Flirting is a playful way of experimenting with your magnetism, yet it is often the root cause of many hurt feelings and potential arguments. There is great social pressure, especially if you are married, to avoid flirting. Let's get this straight from the start. There are healthy and unhealthy forms of flirting, the key difference being in your motives. You must always be clear of your intent, because other people are certainly going to question it. To flirt means to risk. By definition, it is an experience of playful amorousness, a situation that mocks courtship. Flirting can be fun, but the danger in this type of relating is that it can lead to situations more intense than bargained for. There is a fine line, all too often crossed, being playful acknowledgement of another and the undesirable come-on, an invitation to some greater sport. This seductive type of flirting always has an ulterior motive connected to it, but energy flirting has no such motive. Flirting for the sake of a playful enjoyment of the moment with another person, but not as a prelude to seduction, is what is being encouraged. It is an open expression of magnetism and a method of establishing a non-sexual, yet magnetic, rapport with others. Even when you are clear in your motivations, how do you respond when someone misinterprets your playful flirting? Do you tend to get flustered and retreat? Do you get angry or hurt over the misinterpretation? Rather than get frustrated over this, learn to simply redirect the energy back to your intention by saying something like, "That is not what I'm interested in, but I do enjoy the conversation." Your motives will remain clear and unchanged to you, and that is what is important here. You wouldn't feel guilty about pushing down a young puppy that was jumping up on you, nor should you feel guilty about redirecting the miscommunication when someone over-responds to your playfulness. You can learn how to generate energy with others and yet remain discriminating so that hurt and chaos are not the end result. Confusion results when energy flirting gets misinterpreted. The other end of the spectrum is total avoidance of interacting with people you do not know well, whether it be because you are fearful of taking risks with others or simply because you are shy. This is very safe, but a life void of magnetism is a drab existence and soon loses its spark. As you increase your magnetism, you will attract more attention. It always happens. Be prepared for this. The energy and light in you has increased through your openness. Know it is the light within you that others are attracted to, and you will minimize the difficulties of integrating the increased attention. Dealing with increased magnetism. Maintaining the increased energy you have generated through flirting is more challenging than it first appears. As your magnetism increases and you attract more attention and opportunities, your comfort zone is going to be stretched. Dealing with the increased magnetism so that it can be integrated into your life without disruption not only continually tests your ability to use discrimination, but also requires constant examination of your values. A barrage of opportunities not previously available can all of a sudden appear quite enticing, and the lure of the senses becomes stronger as well. Which opportunities you allow and which ones you don't is completely up to you and your values. When unbridled, the Venus function entices you into new traps of indulgence. Consequently, a person may be quite temperament in behavior at one level of magnetism, but when it is increased, they could become quite excessive in behavior. Remember, each situation you attract is not necessarily a call to participation. With experience and discrimination, you learn to decline unhealthy opportunities and enjoy them simply as evidence of your magnetism. With time, your value systems expand and govern your choices, thereby permitting true enjoyment of the experience instead of chasing a whim. Developing your sexuality. Social values, attitudes, and opinions concerning sexuality have exploded in our modern world. However, Venus is not a social planet, it is a personal planet, and each of us must discover our natural sexuality ourselves. Cultural training gives so many mixed messages. There are rules, codes of conduct, morals, ethics, and explicit expectations taught, but there is also a tremendous undercurrent of implicit information on the topic. From movies to books to selling cars, sex is a theme that bombards the visual environment. Even Madison Avenue and the marketing agencies have had a strong impact on attitudes to which you become conditioned concerning your sexuality. With this product, you can look like this and then you'll get your man. Or use this product to become strong in the marketplace, and so on. A great deal of deconditioning is required just to define your own personal attitudes and tastes. Sexuality is so much more than how much, how often, how many. More than just the physical act, sexuality deals with all aspects of magnetism between people. This magnetism attracts you to someone, repels you from someone, or leaves you feeling neutral. Those are the options. Sex is one of the most instinctual urges of humankind and is a major function in all of life, whether you're experiencing sexual relations or not. Nature provided the body with instincts to ensure the survival of the species. That you will feel the urge and desire to form a sexual union is a fact of life, but it is your response to this stirring within that becomes the issue of sexuality. Mostly, developing a healthy attitude concerning sex is simply learning how to allow your instincts to operate. This isn't easy because along with instincts comes a tremendous amount of cultural conditioning, seeking to repress or mold the instincts into whatever is considered proper. To children, sex is usually presented as a taboo. You're not supposed to know too much too soon. Since sex represents the very core of life itself and is the basic spark of all creativity, it would seem the more you know, the better prepared you will be in life. But this isn't always the case. One way or another, everyone has had to experiment with sexuality. Sexual unions offer the greatest opportunity for complete intimacy with another and allows for all levels of sharing to take place simultaneously. And that is a great worth of merging the sexual and spiritual into your relationships. It is the one opportunity to pull it all together. Sexuality is a form of creativity. When two people come together, a third entity is created. To begin with, they each had their own separate identities, but now they also have the identity of who they are as a couple. Likewise, sex is the most obvious way that two become one, but for this transformation to occur and become complete, total surrender is required. Whether you are seeking purely sensual gratification or a transformational spiritual experience, you will find that the more you become one with your partner, the more satisfaction you will experience. The sexual act itself is a dance of paramount alchemy. It is any wonder that many people confuse sex with love. Is it a rare undressing of the facades? This union provides the opportunity to become as close as one can come to another person. Sweating, breathing, touching, sights, smells, and sounds that would usually seem embarrassing are shared with another. Such is the moment of intense closeness and opportunity for transformation. Our sexual fluids carry the energetic vibration of our entire being, and this is why, after sexual union, we are so emotionally open to our partner. We carry a portion of each other's being within us. Energetically, the concept of casual sex is quite impossible, since you will be carrying each other's energetic vibration with you, and you will be influenced by each other's karma. Choose wisely, for on a karmic lesson, the bond is being formed. Cycles of sexuality. The couple who has successfully maintained a long-term relationship can vouch for the fact that there are times when the sexual energy is not just there. When this inevitable situation occurs in your relationship, how do you respond? Many people try to fix a bad back by changing their shirt, so to speak. They become anxious over the lull in sexual energy in their relationship and fearing that it is going or gone, react by assuming that they are with the wrong person and change the person. It never works. You are still taking the same you to the new relationship, and you and your new partner will still go through your cycles. Women typically know more about cycles than men. From learning how to adapt to the cycles of emotion that accompany the menstrual cycle, women simply have more experience with high and low cycles as a natural rhythm in life. But just because they have grown up with these cycles does not mean that they have an easier time understanding them. A common fear is that if you cannot sexually please your partner, you will lose them. If this has been a part of your conditioning, it is certainly a challenge for you to learn how to stand up for your own sexual rhythm of expression. So often, it is much easier to just adapt to your partner's cycle instead of talking about your ever-changing needs. But this lack of honoring your energy does not lead to magnetism. it actually leads to a depletion of the energy field. Educating each other as to personal style, needs, desires, and turn-offs requires honesty and communication, the foundation of any good relationship. Routines are a surefire way of killing the spontaneity required for magnetic relating, and subversive techniques such as "not tonight, I have a headache" simply do not get to the real issues. Understanding your sexual cycles and learning how to educate your partner on them is the way. When you can deal with this issue, which is as much an issue of communication as anything else, realize you are greatly helping your partner understand you better, and this will strengthen the foundation of your relationship. Men are virile, potent, and sexually always ready to go. At least that is what's taught in the locker room. It takes gentle guidance to educate and bring this insecure male into the awareness of sexual cycles as a natural functioning of relating. Most men have an innate fear that when their sexual drive is low, it might be dying. We must press forward. Many need to learn that these cycles do not impede sexual relating, but instead facilitate potency. In weight training, you are advised not to exercise the same muscle groups every day. After the day of rest, you come back even stronger than before. Activity, rest, activity. Align with the cycles of life. Honor the downtime and come back stronger. Women, on the other hand, are naturally more aware of their cycles of sexuality. Regardless of how much they love their partner, there are times when they are simply not sexually interested, and they are able to accept this without judging the relationship. However, women have just as much implicit cultural conditioning to decipher as do men. When men are taught virility, women are often taught through a Barbie doll consciousness that they are the objects of a man's desire. Many women fear abandonment if they are not always available to receive their mate's sexual advances. Women are not typically encouraged to teach their man how to be their ideal sexual partner, but it could improve many marriages if they would assume that role. Eventually, you realize that you go through these cycles with or without another person. Your partner is not causing your cycle. Honoring both partners' cycle and merging them into a mutually satisfying dance of intimacy is an ongoing process of discovery and adaptation. Intimacy and the moment. Is there any greater treasure in life than the experience of intimacy with another, complete merging, where both drop their separate selves and merge into one? This is the great reward for mastering relationship skills. We will define intimacy as the experience of being with another person in such a way that we both are able to drop all the armor and explore the mystery of the moment together. Intimacy can be experienced at the physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual levels of a relationship, and ideally all levels at once. To be truly intimate with another requires complete honesty so that there are no places within you that are armored up for fear of discovery. It is dropping into the soft spot in your being and sharing from there. The facades are gone, and you feel relieved and comfortable revealing more of your true self. Intimacy requires complete surrender to the unfolding moment. Holding back in any way cuts off the magic. So why hold back? Old wounds are often the culprit. We have all been hurt along the way in life. It happens. When we get hurt, we naturally build armor to protect ourselves. Much like if you cut yourself, the body naturally forms a scab. Just like the body, which will maintain the scab until the wound is healed, our emotional wounds need the armor until they are healed as well. If you are carrying around old wounds, you've got armor. That's fine as far as protecting your vulnerability is concerned, but this same armor blocks you from an intimacy you crave. There is a chain of command concerning intimacy. To experience intimacy, you must be able to present your vulnerability. To do this, you must first be able to trust. To trust, you must first be able to forgive. We are all stumbling along our path of awakening. We have all been hurt and hurt others, been abandoned and abandoned others, been betrayed and betrayed others. Life happens. Can you accept the essential humanity of yourself and others? Can you forgive and learn something from it? If so, you will be able to open your vulnerability and allow intimacy. For intimacy to take place, there must be a complete blending of the two energies. Both individuals surrender their independent sense of self for the experience of something greater that is possible through simply interacting with each other. This is surrender without sacrifice, synergistic relating. The experience of intimacy is not limited to sexual union. One can learn to totally surrender to an intimate experience through a conversation, a meditation, or a walk in nature. To surrender is to let go of control. The following practice will facilitate this. Practice staying 5 minutes longer. Imagine this scenario. You have a little extra time and decide to stop by a friend's house for a visit. You both share your recent stories and what is currently on your mind. What happens when you reach the awkward zone where neither of you has anything more to say and the conversation goes silent? Do you tend to look at your watch and exclaim that it is getting late and you must be going? That seems to be the universal response. This is the magic moment. Your feeling of being out of control is the source of your comfort zone feeling stretched. Stay 5 minutes longer. Not an hour. Just stretch your ability to be with the awkward silence a bit longer. Stay in the void. Surrender. Something with the awkward silence a bit longer. Stay in the void. Surrender. Something. My bad. Something will happen. Something will emerge from the silence that is not born out of your control. Ah, the intimate moment. Now translate this to your relationship with your lover, your spiritual practice, or your creative expression. Stay 5 minutes longer to deepen the intimacy. Sacred sexuality. Sacred sexuality is making love at all levels with your partner simultaneously, the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. This is learning how to celebrate the divine in sexual union, bringing sacredness to the sharing. Spirituality and sexuality have long been divorced by many of the world's religions and teachings. Chastity, obedience, and poverty, remember? Chastity is a worthy attempt to get in touch with one's spiritual nature by denying the physical, but it doesn't always work. What happens most often is that denial and repression create just as much as an imbalance as overindulgence does. Or, as one teacher said, you become a horny celibate. Spiritual sexuality certainly need not exclude physical sexuality, nor is it limited to physical relationships. A successful merging of these two worlds can be a true experience of heaven on earth. The following is an exercise from the teachings of tantric sexual yoga. Instead of rushing to the peak of orgasm, you learn to slow down and enjoy valleys and plateaus along the way. Venus exercise for sacred sexuality. While in the passion of sexual union, slow down the rush to orgasm. Focus on each other's breaths and move your attention to the emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects of the embrace as well as the physical. After the fire of the sexual embrace has begun, stop all movement for a moment and take note of the rush to physical sensation that is occurring and override it with your spiritual will. Focus on the sound of each other's breath. Visualize the energy of your union merging at the genitals and then moving up your spines and through each other's chakras to your stomach, hearts, throats, mouths, eyes, and third eye, and uniting as one, merging with spirit. See your spine as a thermometer of your love and visualize a flame starting at the genitals and rising through your spine and out of the top of your head. Visualize the two fires merging into one flame. Feel this taking place at the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels with each other. Through experimentation, you will be able to adapt this exercise on your own style. Don't be afraid to experiment. You will notice that instead of being exhausted, this type of lovemaking is exhilarating. To engage the spiritual dimension of any involvement brings sacredness to the experience. Now, Venus in your birth chart, all right? We almost here, so I really hope y'all went to your birth chart and figured out where your Venus was at. Since we got one more paragraph. Venus is the planet that symbolizes how you attract others into your life and what you need to feel loved and appreciated. It represents how you enjoy what you have, your experience of either being satisfied or not satisfied. Knowing your Venus sign gives you clues as to qualities you would enjoy most and value in your love life. Knowing the Venus sign of others gives you clues as to what they are attracted to, value, and enjoy in their relationships. The sign your Venus is in describes the way you are most open to receiving love. When you are out of touch with your Venus function, you may be trying too hard without receiving enough satisfaction for your efforts. If you do not understand the Venus function in others, your efforts to please them may be aligned with what you would appreciate, but still be off base. Astrology can help. Venus is the guide to the sweet nectar in life. Follow its lead, and you will find that life offers a bounty of opportunities to enjoy. In the following pages, learn more about how Venus leads to the Garden of Delight through each of the signs. Thank you, Big Dog. Thank you, Joe Lewis. Oh, thank you for subscribing. I don't know if I can do it in here, but we're going to do this subscription. If you guys don't know my subscription dance, it is 5 jumping jacks. Thank you for your subscription. But we're going to get back to this book because we don't want to get off topic. All right. Now, if you did your birth chart and you got your Venus sign and you are ready, put a heart in the comments. When we get 5 hearts, I'm going to start reading. 1. Only one person knows their Venus. 2, 3, 4. Only 4 people? Okay, 5. All right, 6. Good. Your Venus is in Pisces. Oh, my Venus is in Pisces too. Period. And thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Crown. Hey, Freddie. Yes, James. Is in a 6th house? Okay, yes. Give me the houses too. Period.